Big news out of the Caribbean. President Trump confirmed that the U.S. military sank a boat carrying drugs after it left Venezuela. The first strike of its kind since he ordered more forces to the region. This raises questions about legality, security, and what it means for Americans traveling in Central and South America. Mike, what's the real significance of this strike? Does labeling cartels as terrorists give the U.S. more legal room for these kinds of actions? And could it affect ordinary Americans traveling in the region?
Oh, geez, I got to unpack that. That's a lot of questions all in one. First off, this might be a theme of mine today, unintentionally, but I'm going to tell you, I don't really agree with that move either. First of all, let's look at this on the surface. We took the United States military, which is the most powerful military in the world, and probably launched, I don't know, a $500,000 to $1 million rocket at what amounts to a little fishing ponga boat. I mean, like that wasn't. First of all, when I hear it on the news, the first thing I think we just attacked a ship coming out of Venezuela. Okay, there's nobody on planet Earth is going to describe this thing as a ship, right? I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We attacked a small boat that wouldn't have survived a 4-foot swell that had 11 human beings on it. And I'm going to agree with, I don't know who said it, I don't remember. There was a Democratic senator, I believe, that said, the last time I checked, smuggling drugs and doing, you know, what they're doing with those things was illegal. But it wasn't an act of war, and you know, it's hard to justify killing people over. First of all, to say that boat was going to America was kind of a load of shit too. There was not a chance on the planet that thing makes it across the Caribbean. I mean, give me a break. None of this. I don't buy any of this. So to answer your other questions. Do I think it was a good idea? No, I do not. I think declaring that the cartels are terrorist organizations is probably somewhat appropriate and somewhat accurate. However, actually taking military action against them, particularly if it involves, and I've said this before in the podcast, if it involves somebody else's sovereign territory, I definitely don't agree with it. They did it in international waters. But look, you open yourself up to a potential here of, God forbid, they're going to, you know, next thing you know, John and Pablo are out in their boat, and you take it out by accident, and you're like, oops, you know how that works. Oops, we thought that was Tren de Agua. No, it wasn't. It was they were out there catching tuna. So to me, the entire reason that they did that was optics, pure optics. All they're doing was all they were trying to, and by the way, not optics for you and I.
Right.
Those are optics. They were just trying to show Maduro's regime in Venezuela and particularly the cartels that we mean business. Do I think the cartels bought it? No. No.
Well, you already took the words out of my mouth, Mike. The optics. And the optics to me are, I'm just going to get to it. My issue with this whole thing is the issue that I have had with the strategies that the U.S. government has used since the 80s in fighting drugs. The big guys always survive all of this stuff. I would have been more impressed if you had told me that you took one of these expensive bombs or drone strikes and actually killed the top guys.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that they don't know exactly by within inches where these guys are. It's not like they don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because these guys end up having meetings with the government officials of these places. You can't tell me they can't find them. But
Yeah, they can.
you shoot these guys on the boat, and two things about the boat. I didn't see no 11 people on the boat. I don't even think the boat was big enough to have 11 people for me to miss them.
It sure didn't look like it.
And here's the saddest reality of the whole complete thing. The guy that's given the job in the drug business to get on a flimsy boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and supposed to be taking drugs all the way to America in it is a person to feel sorry for.
Exactly.
Not to blow them the fuck up.
Right. I totally agree with you. And by the way, unfortunately, those people, like you're describing, those quote 11 people on the boat, there's an endless supply of them. So we took out 11 of them. There's another 18 million of them. You know what I mean? Like, you accomplished nothing. You didn't take out anybody that was important.
These people are so poor, Mike, that some of them are probably even like, the next guy to take the job is probably like, man, it's a possibility that I might get struck. But they're so poor, they're like, well, if I get paid up front, I can give this to my family. That's how poor they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was nuts.